Thank you all for joining us on another episode of She Changes the Game on Up2Us Sports Podcast. Our goals don't end on the field. Today we're talking with two coaches who are Up2Us Sports Coaches. And we're going to be talking about how women role models are needed for girls in order to reach their full potential. And so I'm really excited about the conversation that we're going to have today. But to give you a little bit of information about Up2Us Sports and our She Changes the Game initiative, Up2Us Sports is a national nonprofit that you can go ahead and change slides, Alana. Yep. Up2Us Sports is a national nonprofit organization that identifies, trains, and supports coaches who bring sports-based youth development to underserved communities. And over the last 12 years, we've brought on over 1,800 member organizations. We've placed over nearly 3,500 coaches, and we've served almost 650,000 youth through our programs. So one of the things, again, that we're going to address today is that girls drop out of sports at twice the rate of boys by the age of 14. And one of the main reasons, a big reason, it's not the only reason, is that girls lack quality role models that look like them. And so when a girl doesn't play sports, she doesn't reap the benefits that sports provides, and that is academic achievement, social emotional well-being, and also our physical health. So She Changes the Game is an initiative that we started a couple years ago, and it was designed by Up2Us Sports to place more women coaches at youth sports programs. Our goal this year is to reach a coach force of 50% women to help keep girls playing sports. That's one of the things. And the other is that we just want to keep girls engaged in sports. And we know that a lot of times girls drop out because they don't have coaches who are quality coaches, who understand the issues that girls go through as athletes. And so we really want to up the numbers of our coach force to get more women who are serving as mentors really for these young girls.
I don't think we need to play this video, do we, Ahada?
No.
Cool. Sounds good.
So a woman coach is a role model that a girl can relate to. Women help make sports a more comfortable environment for girls. We also show what's possible for them, right? As a role model, it's good for girls to see that I too can become a coach. I too can become a director of an organization that runs sports programs. And teaching all youth that women are capable of what we're capable of in sports and beyond. So not just girls, but boys need to see it as well, that we are capable coaching both girls and boys sports, women and men's sports, and all of the things that we come with and provide for people beyond the field and the court. So what I want to do is, we can skip this, Alana. I won't do this one. Yeah. Let me read this one as well. She's going to splice all of this. So our coaches, as we begin talking about the coaches that are Up2Us Sports Coaches and who we get, we have college students who want to become coaches, recent graduates, retirees, former athletes, educators, community members, family members. And for us, we're an AmeriCorps program. So we have AmeriCorps service members. And we are all people, once you start talking to, and especially we start hearing from the women today, we're all people who want to make a difference in the lives of young people. So with that being said, I want to jump in and introduce our panel members for today. So first we have Nancy Lemus. Nancy is a 4-time Up2Us Sports AmeriCorps Dodgers field champion. She received the Dodgers Coach of the Year Award in 2021. She's been involved in sports with her children for over 12 years, starting as a teen mom and working her way to head coach. And she's passionate about serving her community and being a mentor to our young youth. We also have Sheena Flowers, who has been coaching for 7 years, and she's with the LA Dodgers Foundation. Sheena started coaching her son's teams and wanted to be involved in their development, and it was also a way for her to connect with her sons. So welcome, ladies, welcome. Thank you for being here. I want to jump in because what's interesting about you both, and I think what's the most important thing to point out here is that there's some synergy that's going on, right? That it's you, Nancy and Sheena, and I as well got into coaching youth as moms. And so I want to have that conversation, especially with you, that Nancy, as starting out as teen mom, did it run in your mind when you first started that you would be a coach one day?
Not at all. I started as a teen mom. Well, I got involved in my kids' sports because, it's an outlet, right? So I really wanted to put them out there. So I got them into baseball. I have no idea how to play baseball. I didn't play softball. I played tennis. But I saw the need that the coach was struggling with the kids out there. Sure. And as a mom, we multitask, right? Sure. So I just couldn't sit there, and I had to get up and I had to go and interact with the kids and help, bring a little bit of order into the practices to be a meaningful practice. The kids are running around, so that's how I got involved. I said, hey, I can help, I work with kids. I was a Head Start staff member. So I worked a lot with young little kids. And I think just the mom job duties that we always do just came into place, and it was just natural. It was very difficult. I'm not gonna lie. I'm 42, so even in the work field, it was very difficult being a woman. You had to fight for that job. Excuse me. You had to fight for that job. You would not be able to get the job because you were a woman. You know what I mean? So that mentality was really, really difficult for me, and that's a challenge. When I decided to become coach, I did it because I had so many men coaches tell me that I couldn't do it, that I didn't belong there, that I belonged as a teen mom, and that was all I could do. And I said, no, I think I can do a better job because I care about the children and their well-being, not winning the game. And I think that's what made a difference for me.
And that's really interesting, Nancy, because when you look at youth sports, how many times do dads volunteer to coach their son's team, not having played the game, never played the sport, but somehow in their minds, that's okay. And that it's not okay for a woman to do it, right? If she hasn't played the sport, or she doesn't, heck, they don't think it's okay for a woman to do it, even if she has played the sport. And so I think how courageous of you to say, nope, never played this, but there's still some value that I bring to these young boys. And so I commend you for doing that, because most moms won't. And that is a barrier for women, that they feel as though I've not played this sport or not played it at a high level, and I'm not qualified to be able to coach these teams. But nothing could be further from the truth, as you've shown. Yes. And so, Sheena, I want to get you in here as well, because it's not just about the sport and playing, is it? You got into this because you wanted to connect with your kids, period. Same reasons that dads want to do it, right? They want to connect with their sons while they're out on the field. So I want to get you in here. What was your mindset? What was your mindset? How did you see that playing out, right? I want to connect with my kids. I want to be a part of their development. Did you think that it would play out as it has played out over the past 7 years?
So no, I didn't. And one of the reasons why I really got involved, and I'll tell you a short story, is the first time my oldest son, Jameer, was trying out for T-ball. And I was on the sidelines and, just yelling encouragement from the sidelines and, trying to give him the support that he needed. And what I did see from a lot of kids is that there were words, kind of sort of negative connotations, or I can't, or I don't know how, or I've never done it before. So for me, I always tell my kids, you can't until you try.
Sure.
And so for me, it was also just a way to really kind of sort of get up off the sidelines, get into the field, which was scary at first, because again, it's just like, I've never really coached a huge team.
Absolutely.
But kind of sort of not making it a bigger picture, breaking it down and really kind of saying, just connecting with the kids, making sure that they have someone who they know supports them. It's okay not to be able to get everything. It's okay to try again. It's okay to fail. Just letting them know that it's okay, and then I also want to mention that both of my sons have IEPs.
Okay.
So they both have learning disabilities.
Sure.
And at the beginning, they didn't know what an IEP is. As they've grown older, what I used to basically tell them, it just makes learning for them, the way they learn is unique. Absolutely. That's all it is. Absolutely. And because education is so, like one-sided, we just haven't figured out a strategy for the way that you learn.
That's right.
And so what I try to do is kind of sort of use coaching, and coaching has definitely taught me a ton of skills to help them in and off the field, right? And, supporting their self-esteem, just understanding and connecting with them a little bit better.
Sure.
And I also think that sports allows them to practice things, have them see it and do something in real time, versus with education, it's, kind of sort of taking it in,
that's right,
forgetting about it. Then maybe like a week later, you've got like a practice test.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So it's something that you can put into practice, but that's kind of sort of how I got started. Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. I too, Sheena, have a child who struggled in school and had an IEP. And it was also a way, right, to teach other people how to teach your child, because people don't always understand that when you have a child who learns differently, right, that there's an array of techniques and strategies that you can use to get a child to get it and to get them to understand that a lot of people just aren't accustomed to, right? And so it allows that you have to have the patience for. Absolutely. And so I think that's another area where it's so important for women to dive in, right? To get off the sidelines and to dive in, because we then are not only helping the young people, but we're helping the adults be better supporters for our young people. And so, yeah, I totally am on the same page with you in terms of helping people learn. It's a struggle, and it's difficult to watch your child, right, struggle. It's difficult to watch your child struggle with something and someone else not understanding that struggle for your child. So Nancy, Miss Coach of the Year, right? Coach of the Year, which is no small thing, especially, that's huge to go from, I don't know the sport, right? I don't know this sport, to now I am Coach of the Year. So what is that journey? What is that journey? What do you say to moms who say, I don't know the sport and I'm reluctant to step in? What do you tell them about that learning process? How you can fill yourself, because that's really what it is. You fill yourself with as much education as you possibly can about the sport itself, right? Because we want kids to have quality coaches. But there's that other component of I'm also teaching them life skills and I'm teaching them social skills and all of that stuff. So what's that journey like, going from I don't know this sport to I'm now Coach of the Year?
It's been interesting. It's been very exciting, because I seen the growth within myself too. I used to call myself a coach, but I was embarrassed to say that I was a baseball coach because I didn't know baseball. Sure. I didn't know the terms. I didn't know the practice or anything. But here Up to Us, and I'm part of the Dodgers Foundation.
Sure.
They provide you trainings. You know what I mean? They give you trainings that you can do and implement this at your practices. You know what I mean? So you're not alone. And as moms, I know we are resourceful. So it's not like, oh, I don't know, I'm sorry, I can't help you. It's like, hold on, I have a friend that's a pitcher that's going to come and teach us today. We find ways that we provide the quality service. If it doesn't come from us specifically, I have connections, I have resources. And that's what I tell moms, like, that's what I've been doing lately, you know, going to Dodger events. I have a lot of moms that come up to me and, you know, they see me on social media and stuff. And I'm like, you can be a coach too. I'm like, oh no, I don't know anything. I was like, well, I didn't know either. I said, we have the Dodgers training coaches, the coaches trainings that we offer. You can get training drills, you know, and I teach them what I do. I go online and I look for specific like grounding drills, right? And I look at it, I study it, and I go and I implement it. You know what I mean? So we're here, we're there. We have the resources. I think that's the key. Don't just feel like if I don't know it, it's the end of the world, because you know people, and you have a lot of connection and network, and that's what community is about, right? So it's like we all come together for the common goal of this child succeeding, not just in sports, but in life.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. I mean, among all of the other things that moms do, being resourceful is one of the main ones. That if nothing else, we are resourceful. And so, and we you know how to tap into that. You've got to tap into what your strengths are as a woman and as a mom, to be able to help young people. And I know for certain, will go to any length to get whatever our kids need, right? That's just what we do. Sheena, why Up2Us Sports? What was the draw?
You know what? I honestly, when I really was coaching, I'm part of the Dodgers RBI from previous year and pre-pandemic. And when I first, what happened? I actually got an email, right? And it was the email about becoming a field champion. And one of the things that really, really made me go for this, for lack of a better sense, position was because, as Nancy mentioned, the support that they were going to give you in addition to just being there. So it was the, player development training, the coaches trainings, the trauma sensitive trainings. And when I saw those things, that they were setting you up for success, so often sometimes, and I don't even say as women, but just I see it in kids too. We often have a fear of not doing something because we don't know. And they kind of sort of eliminated that barrier by providing these things, having that support, even within our own group here in LA. We have a group me kind of sort of text, and it's amazing to see the support that we give each other, within the group. So again, like Nancy said, we're never alone. There's always a resource, or if you don't know, you can always find out. It eliminates the fear of, not knowing or not having the knowledge, behind it. And then on top of that, I feel like it was a great opportunity to just be a community leader. I've recently moved to the city of Inglewood, and this is a great way to get to know parents in your neighborhood and connect with them, not only and sports is a great connector, period. Absolutely. But it's a great way to network too, so that's why I decided to do this through Up2Us. Just the support, the programming, the trainings that they give you. It's pretty much top of the line and top class.
Awesome. Nancy, what's been your proudest moment? You've done this for a while now, and I'm sure you have many, right? But what's been your proudest moment as an Up2Us sports coach and as a coach, period?
I think my proudest moment is the trainings allowing me to grow. I've grown so much as a person, as a human being, as a coach, as a mom, because of these trainings and because of the experience I get being with these kids out there. Because
Sure.
we're coaching them, but they're teaching us too.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So
Absolutely.
it's I just love the fact that, you see these children who in the beginning are so shy, and you work with them and they come out of their shells and they
Mhm.
see that they're so good at it. You know what I mean? They were
Mhm.
so doubtful in the beginning, and then at the end, they're super excited and ready to advance because they believe in themselves.
Yeah.
For me, the proudest moment would be, for me personally, my son. He was in the RBI before pre-pandemic, and he doesn't have an IEP, but he had issues with mental health, and
Sure.
being a perfectionist was one of the things that we struggled with a lot, and a lot of coaches, right, we had a lot of male coaches, didn't understand, right? So it would be difficult when you see your child that bad and he strikes out and then he shuts down and he cries, and he's just so out of control. He lost himself, and and I just couldn't stand by and allow that. I would have to go and talk to him and try to tell him, like, hey, it's okay. It's like, you're going to get another chance to bat. What are you going to do next? Like, try to get him out of it. But thank goodness to these trainings, I'm able to support him even better.
Yeah.
Because as a mom, I was trying to support him, but now as a coach, I have the tools and all the trainings that I've received, that I can now be a good coach to my own son. And if
Sure.
you would see my son now to compare how he started, you wouldn't believe who he is.
Sure.
He's everything that we talk about sports and everything you can gain leadership. He created a nonprofit with me. He's 14 years old. He serves his community. He ran for ASB in school. This kid was shy. He would not talk to you. He would shut down and cry and hide behind mom's legs. And, to see that, it's amazing of the work that we're doing. And I see the impact that we make in the community. And I saw it firsthand in my home. And I said, oh my God, if I see this in my son, imagine all the little kids I see in my community. So
Absolutely.
that is a highlight for me.
Absolutely. Sheena, Nancy talked about mental health in kids, right? And, it's one of those things that we can't get away from, right? Especially coming out of this pandemic. So I'm going to ask you to forecast a little bit, right? And talk a little bit about how important and what role coaches are going to take with kids that we're now starting to see more programs playing and kids coming out of this, and hopefully we stay out of this, right? Hopefully we're at a stage in this pandemic where we feel comfortable enough that this will have some longevity and we'll be able to continue to play, but we don't know.
Yep.
We don't know. It's so unpredictable. And there's this fear that things get shut down again and kids then are asked to sort of seclude themselves again as they did before. So what's the coach role here? How do we help our young people get through this period?
Thank you, Dr. Ahada, for mentioning that, because I actually, personally struggled with this with my youngest son. And my youngest son is 12. Just to give you a little bit of a background, the pandemic started in his 5th grade year. So he was basically a senior in elementary school, for lack of a better word.
Mm-hmm.
All of his activities were basically canceled.
Mm-hmm.
Graduation was canceled, right? And we know how important the progression from 5th grade to 6th grade is, right? And even then with 5th grade ending, he was looking forward to the 6th grade year, but again, didn't have that, incoming ceremony for middle school, right? He basically, his first year in middle school was this year as a 7th grader. So he missed his 5th grade graduation. He didn't get the 6th grade incoming welcome that we were necessarily used to. And this kid was all about sports. During the pandemic, I witnessed firsthand the decline of certain skill sets within him. And because I'm an involved parent, it did take a lot out of me to find different ways for him to be involved without necessarily sacrificing his safety. But it did take a lot. And I think that it's very, very important that we provide compassion, that we provide patience, and that we continue to instill and and recognize the importance that sports programs have, like forming social and community bonds, overcoming challenges, having them be resilient. And I really am a firm believer that sports programs like Up2Us Sports and the Dodgers RBI Foundation, or just any type of sports period, just really, really helps them build a foundation for healthiness, right? Getting up, being active, bouncing back with your mind, being resilient, right? Realizing that things are going to happen, but what can we do next? Let's keep it going, right? Yes, we're disappointed that we can't do this, but what can we do, I think also during that time frame, since we had like a break from kind of sort of sports, I also like to volunteer. So I also wanted him to get out of his head and out of his box and realize that there are other people like him, right, who are missing the same thing. He's not alone. And even if you're feeling this way, you can also help support someone else, there are always going to be people in need, so that's basically where I stand with that.
Thank you. Thank you. Nancy, we would be remiss to say that it's just kids who struggled mentally with this pandemic, right? That we too had our own struggles with it. And so did any of the things that you learned as an Up2Us coach help you as well keep things in perspective and keep your own mental health and mental wellness intact?
Funny you say that. I suffer from anxiety and depression. And when the Dodgers RBI came to Inglewood for the first year, that was the worst year of my life. Like, I lost control of myself and I couldn't figure it out. And I signed up to, help out the park. I wasn't a field champion then, but just being supportive and being there with the kids, I felt complete. I didn't remember I had anxiety. I couldn't remember I had depression. I was happy. I was excited. When I did the trainings, I understood a lot about myself personally that have helped me break through a lot of those traumas that I'm able to heal now, right? So that's what we're trying to teach. We're trying to heal all our traumas so we can move forward and thrive in life. And I think that's one of the biggest takeaway that I am so passionate about Up2Us sports training, the trauma sensitive trainings. It's because personally I've had breakthroughs, and I'm a better person and I'm happy. My mental health is like, oh, I haven't had an episode in like, oh my God, when is the last episode? You know what I mean? But just being involved and being with the kids and the trainings you get, and then you see it yourself and you see it in the children and you're like, oh, that reminds me of how I felt that way. When you get to connect and bond with these children and help them through those traumas and hopefully help them heal.
Absolutely.
Can I cut in here?
Absolutely.
For 2 seconds, Absolutely. I definitely want to commend you, Nancy, because I also, when I'm going through those trainings, it was kind of sort of an aha moment. And it really kind of sort of brought to the forefront of just mindfulness, right? When you do get into those, there's nothing, and I tell my kids all the time, there's nothing wrong with having negative thoughts, because I have negative thoughts too, but it's counteracting them, right? In the moment, what can you do to make that switch? Living with it for a moment, really kind of sort of taking a second and really kind of delving deep into, why do you feel that way? Why is that? Continuing to ask that question to really get down to the root of the problem. And then, really kind of coming up with a solution, on your own. But I really would have to say that those trauma sensitive trainings that we have taken has really, really opened my eyes to corrective action that you can take, and has really given me a new set of skills to bring to coaching.
It's funny that you say that, because I, as a coach, because I coach as well, you know, I coach girls, I coach volleyball. And some of the proudest moments, Nancy, that I have are when parents come to me and say exactly what you said, that my child has more insight about themselves through being here and being coached by you, that my child's personality has shifted, right? Because this was the place where they felt comfortable being themselves. They were able to fully express who they are, right? To see, you know, one of the greatest accomplishments is to have kids that I've coached who have graduated from high school and gone on and said, hey, can I come back and coach with you? Or, hey, I'm out here and I'm killing it in college because I'm no longer afraid. Or, you know, they've taken those lessons that we've tried to instill in them in practice, right? Because again, it's not even about the sport. I would love for all of my kids to reap the benefits of getting a scholarship and going on and playing collegiately or however far they want to go. But the biggest win is when you see them being successful in life, that you see them utilizing and taking some of those lessons that they've learned within the sport. And they're no longer stepping into the world being fearful of what's to come. They're no longer fearful of trying something new, something different that they hadn't done before. That, you know, one of the things that I preach to my kids is, I want you at all times while you're with me to be uncomfortable. Because it's in those moments that you learn how to, and you grow through those experiences and become more comfortable with things. And so, you know, I think that you two are a testament to that, right? And it's why we do what we do. It's also why we become parents, right? Because we want to have that effect on a young person to go off and be great and be successful and just go out there and take chances and enjoy life. That's what we want for our kids. So as we begin to wrap this up, and I knew this conversation was going to go by so quickly, there's a couple questions that I want you all to address. One, why is it important for women to step into these roles that are generally male-dominated roles, right? In coaching and in leadership. Why is it important for women to step into these roles? And number two, what would you tell someone who's listening to you now, who's on the brink of or trying to decide, do I want to become a coach? What do you tell them in terms of the value for yourself becoming a leader in your community, Sheena, as you mentioned, right? What do you tell those people?
Honestly, I tell people all the time, right? You can talk about change all you want, but unless you are one of those people who is in it, striving for it, a part of the process, and you are actually implementing that change, talking can only do so much. And we see this all the time, you know, sorry to say it, with parents on the sidelines who may be angry at a play or are not very happy with how a coach is doing something, or can think about how things can be different, right? But unless you are actually involved, you cannot implement that change, right? Do it, you know, if you see it, if you want to see it be done, do it, you know? And I really think that a female coach or a mother as a coach gives young athletes new insights in a way to help them grow and develop. I know that often we as mothers, and sometimes as females, or I'm not saying that males don't have it, our natural ability to be a nurturer in our family definitely helps in ways that a male, you know, can't really bring to the table. our communication skills, sometimes our empathy, our compassion, the way we are loyal to our kids, and we are so loyal and trying to see them, just their not professional, but personal growth, right, is very important to us. So we have a stake in it that, some people don't necessarily have. And I would say to females who aren't mothers, or to mothers who are thinking about it but haven't necessarily done it, is take that leap, take that step. Don't be afraid of what it is that you don't know. Utilize your support system. Utilize coaches, even male coaches. Don't be afraid to say, hey, I don't know this. And that'll create a bond too. Like, I saw that you did this in your practice. You did a great job with this. Can you teach me so that I can teach my kids? And once you do that, who wants to see kids fail? But I would just say, get out there and do it. And we often, as mothers, we are doing so many things. We are doing so much. But if you can take the time out of your day, out of, 6 months out of the year, to dedicate yourself to the personal development of a child. And we always sometimes talk about how the world is going to crap. This is what needs to be done.
Thank you, Sheena.
Mm-hmm.
Nancy, I'm going to throw it to you. Same question.
Well said.
I've got a mom. Very well said, right? Very well said. I've got a mom, or I've got an auntie, right? It doesn't have to be just be auntie, grandma, sister, whoever, who is in a child's life. What do you say to them? They're on the fence. They're not sure they want to do this. What's your advice?
Do it. Do it. You're going to learn more than what you're trying to teach. It's a learning experience for both. Don't be afraid of not knowing, right? Like Sheena said, you have a support system. We have social media on our hands, literally a phone call or a video call away that, hey, I don't know how to do this. Show me. We have resources, we connect. That's how we can support each other. I think women coaches is needed just as representation. Growing up, I didn't have a lot of female coaches in my life. It was a lot of men coaches, and it was like about win, win, win. And it was like, they don't care if you're sad or mad or hurt or injured or anything like that. If you don't play well, you're going to be benched,
Suck it up, or suck it up. That's what I heard all the time.
Suck it up. Yeah.
I'm like, how am I going to suck up cramps, coach?
Not understanding. Yeah. Or telling you, oh, you're just faking that, because they don't understand the female body. They don't understand the struggles that we deal with. And some deal with it worse than others. We all don't say, oh, it's the same pain level. No, we're all individual. We're all different, and just having that sense of like, okay, I can relate to this person, right? If I'm having issues, right, I could come to this person and talk to them, right? Not feel intimidated, right? Because it's a different male figure. And just having that safe space to speak and be loved and be cared. And it's more just about winning that game. It's about when you succeed, we all succeed, and then we can win the game, right? But women coaches, I think in our culture, in Hispanic cultures, a lot of the times, I've had a lot of parents who refuse to put their daughters in sports because it's not normal. They don't play. It's only the boys who plays. And I want to take that out. Like, no, we all need an outlet. We all need an outlet to release our stress, to get out of that crazy life or whatever's happening outside of the field, and just let go, be free, be able to learn and grow and have connections and build relationships, and know that there's a caring adult there that really cares for me. And I think that's one thing as a mom or as a coach that I do a lot. I'm an athlete. I'm a pro athlete. So sometimes I play with kids that I know, and I don't cheer for teams. I cheer for players. So, even my team says, hey, what team are you on? I'm like, I'm on the team of the kid. I'm on the player side. So we could both be playing against each other, but I'm going to support both and each one of you, you know? And I go out and I tell kids, hey, give me your schedules. I'll come out and I'll support. And they love that, and they do. And when they see that, I have a group of youth that I mentor, and I have them involved in other community involvement, being involved in their communities, playing baseball, going outside of the field, tutoring. I was tutoring them during the pandemic, but they reached out to me. And knowing that by being a coach, it's like asking for help is very difficult as an adult. But if you're teaching these kids that it's okay to ask for help, right? You're doing a great job. Because as a coach, if I'm a female coach and I don't know anything, but I ask for help, I'm teaching my kids it's okay to ask for help. That's a lesson that we can all take away from. So do it. Don't be afraid. There is resources everywhere. You have videos on social media that show you drills. There's Dodgers Training Academy, training coaches, training that it's free. Anyone could come. Don't be afraid. Just reach out. Just do it. It's never a right time. You're never going to have the perfect time to, oh, I commit. No, just do it. Don't stop. Just do it now.
I love it. I love it. And hence why she is Coach of the Year. That is why. And why both of these women are changing the game. And so Sheena Flowers, Nancy Lemus, thank you so much for being here and for speaking your truths about being moms who are out here coaching and working with young people. And I thank you, and the organization thanks you for being here with us. I'm going to turn it over to Alana Scardino. So for all of you who are listening, who are no longer on the fence and ready to become coaches, I'm going to pass it to Alana so she can tell you exactly how you need to do that. Thank you, ladies.
Thank you.
Take it away, Lana.
Thanks so much, Ahada. I'm gonna pull up and share my screen real quick. All right. Thanks so much, Ahada, for that awesome moderation, and Coach Sheena and Coach Nancy. That was both great, super inspiring, super motivating to hear both of your experiences. I just want to walk through a little bit of kind of the logistics of being an Up2Us sports coach, as well as the kind of easy process to get started with applying. So first, kind of starting off with just the basic commitments of being an Up2Us sports coach. It's a commitment of, on average, about 10 to 12 months of service, and there is a commitment to fulfill all your direct service hours. Now, as an asterisk to this, service hours vary based on your host site. I know some host sites, for example, just have a summer term, so you might work kind of more intensely for 4 months, or you might work a little less intensely for 12 months. So it does vary, and there are some different options based on the regions and the host sites that have open positions available. The next commitment is just to attend our coach training. Like was discussed today, we have an awesome training team that is available to teach us kind of the trauma sensitive coaching skills, everything that's involved in sports-based youth development, how to create a positive team culture, and overall just how to really elevate your impact as a coach and really use it as the format that youth need to reach their full potential, not just in sports, but social and emotional learning, academics, everything in that mix. The next thing is attending days of service or other mandatory events. These vary based on region. A lot of times, at least a couple times a year, different regions like to have different community events to get out into our communities and help make a positive impact. Those vary again. And the last thing is just basic data collection and submission. So different things you're responsible for in the data realm are kind of just tracking the numbers of your impact. So how many youth you serve, how they kind of improve in both their physical sports skills, but also their social and emotional learning. There's just kind of a quarterly type of data submission for that. When we get to the benefits of being an Up2Us sports coach. There's benefits both during the service and beyond. So during, we have our living stipend as well as our education award. These things both vary based on your hourly commitment as a coach, but there are just a little bit of kind of financial support to get you through the service. Your education award can be used to repay any loans. You can save it for quite a few years if you're planning on going to more school in the future. It's super awesome. We also have our loan forbearance eligibility to be able to give you a little bit more time to pay back your student loans if you need it. And then we also have ongoing professional development and career readiness, as well as coach training. We have a whole career readiness department at Up2Us Sports that exists just to help our coaches elevate to the next steps of their career. So whether it's like resume and cover letter writing, or it's networking or negotiating, we've got your back with that. Beyond service, things that you can apply to just kind of your day-to-day and professional life is, one, you'll become an expert in youth coaching. You'll have a lot of experience working directly with youth, as well as a little bit of kind of the background, kind of more operations type of work. You'll stand out in job and school applications. Thinking about being an Up2Us sports coach, you really fulfill 3 roles. So you're an AmeriCorps service member, you're an Up2Us sports coach, and then you're a coach at a local host site. So you have 3 different roles that you can really leverage and learn from that really looks really good in both job and school applications. Next is access to alumni events. Like Ahada said, we have in the past 12 or so years had close to 3,500 coaches. So we have quite a few alumni to be connected with who have gone on to all different types of roles and careers, as well as we like to stay engaged and support our alumni as best as we can. And next is that expanded professional network with both alumni, other sports-based youth development organizations, and just being able to connect with as many people as possible. And let's talk about your impact as a coach. So these words that you see kind of around our circle, the real impact and skills that we're looking to develop in youth are things like self-management, relationship skills, responsible decision-making, self-awareness, and social awareness. So kind of outside of those social and emotional learning skills, different parts of your impact will be to make sports a more comfortable environment for girls. Next, to empower youth to reach their full potential, and that's all youth, regardless of their gender. You'll help organizations in your community serve more youth. You're going to inspire the next generation of leaders, and you're going to create social change in your community through the power of sports. So lots of potential for impact on youth, on a community. That's what we're all about, is making that positive impact. All right, so how do we get started on the application process? So you can either scan this QR code that you see on the screen, or you can go to bit.ly/SCTG be a coach. So that's She Changes the Game, the letters that stand for She Changes the Game. And it's a pretty easy process to just fill out an interest form to kind of get the ball rolling. So again, that's bit.ly/SCTG be a coach. So I'm going to click through and click us through this process. So when you head to that link, you're going to go to our Apply to Be a Coach Google site, and you're going to scroll down. First, you'll see a couple about our coach program. And then if you scroll down a little bit more, you'll see different links to our different regions. So for example, I'm in the Northeast, so I would click the Northeast button, and it would bring me to a different page where all of our Northeast opportunities live. So I'll scroll down. The first thing that I'll see is a Google form. I'm going to fill this out and say, I'm interested in being a coach. But if I scroll down even further, I can actually look at the available opportunities that we have for different open coach positions. So I can read about this one that's in Boston, read a little bit more about it, say that looks awesome. And then I'll scroll up to my Google form, fill it out. And then our program director for the Northeast, who happens to be Kevin, will reach out and get you started with some next steps. So that's pretty much it as far as this goes. I am going to kick it back over to Ahada to kind of round us out for the day.
Awesome. Thanks, Alana. I appreciate it. Again, I want to thank Sheena Flowers and Nancy Lemus for joining us today and really diving in with an important conversation around women coaching and in particular moms and family members coaching. Again, if you want to be an Up2Us coach, please reach out to us and do that. We would love to have you. Continue to look for more podcasts. We are located on Spotify. She Changes the Game is our segment, but our channel is Up2Us Sports. Our goals don't end on the field. Thank you all and have a great evening.